also have a table in the EUC next week, Thursday next week between 11 and 2. And we'll also have a table in the atrium, 11 to 2, Tuesday through Friday. Tables in the library, the music building, of course, for ever, or at least until the election.
You know, we have to get a certain amount of voter registration, a certain amount of doors have to be knocked on, a certain amount of cards have to be filled out each week. So if we get volunteers to help us out even a little bit, that, you know, that helps out a lot.
Whereas, you know, number of mailings, you need this many mailings, this many phone calls, but face-to-face contact, it's the most efficient per person, even though it takes a little bit more time because you're going door to door.
For the most part, since the beginning of the semester, like, we've been really good, but these last couple weeks have been kind of, could be better. It's been a little bit a little disappointing seeing the number we got now. It's like a couple people here and there. Tuesday was probably the best day we've had in 2 weeks.
I told people good well ahead of time. No one showed up. You kind of got to do that. I know there's a lot of other people who didn't show up. It wasn't just people in this room, and obviously we have a smaller number tonight. I totally understand that. However, like, being in this club, like, to me, is you do have to kind of participate in this stuff. Once again, like, we'll train you, we'll do anything, you know, all that stuff. But you do need to come out.
But I'm not going to class on election day. Like, I'm going to be at the polls, making sure people can get there, making sure people can vote, and making sure they're voting Democrat.
There'll also be debate watch parties for the month of October. That's when all those debates are coming up. The 3rd, the 11th, and the 22nd. The 3rd is going to be, of course, this coming week.
I'm hoping you're in a dark pool.
Yeah. Okay. The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, applause, boos, hisses, among other noisy, distracting things.
Mathematically, there are 3 ways that you can cut a deficit. One, of course, is to raise taxes. Number 2 is to cut spending, and number 3 is to grow the economy. Because if more people work in a growing economy, they're paying taxes, and you can get the job done that way. The president would prefer raising taxes.
That kind of approach, I believe, will not grow our economy, because the only way to pay for it without either burdening the middle class or blowing up our deficit is to make drastic cuts in things like education.
I'm sorry, Jim. I'm going to stop the subsidy to PBS. I'm going to stop other things. I like PBS. I love Big Bird. Actually, like you too. But I'm not going to keep on spending money on things to borrow money from China to pay for.
Carrie, you guys ready to do that? Yep. Did you already want to sign up for the card?
Not right now, thank you.
Alright. What am I signing?
I know it's been a long season, let's not forget about last summer. 'Cause I found in love too easy.
I want to thank you all for coming out. At this point, I still think it's necessary to keep tweeting and keep letting people know that we are marching so that people can join us on the way to the polls, okay? The lines will probably be long, but we want to make sure that everybody is patient and that everybody understands the importance of this actual event right now, okay? In the way that we're actually going to march through here, we're going to go through College Ave, and we're actually going to walk through South Park, and then we're going to walk across the street to the Weatherspoon Art Museum, okay? Every vote counts! 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 Every vote counts!
Woodstock early voting. You can register and vote at the same time. Just a block up the street, the Weatherspoon Gallery.
It's a lot better than standing in line for however many hours on November 6th.
to take somebody else tomorrow. And you have to stay on your hustle until it's done. So there's a lot at stake here, and I've been on the road for many elections, too many to mention. And I always say there's a lot at stake, and I've had many times where people have doubted that, and then we saw the results, and they were devastated.
If they say, no, I'm not voting against the amendment, basically say, that's great, you know, I'm voting no because, you know, personally I have mothers that are gay, and they mean a lot to me. And I also just think it's wrong for extreme politicians to put something in the Constitution making it illegal for people to marry the person they love. If it's undecided, you know, just kind of, it says here, one sentence personal story on who this would hurt in your life, Sel or others. So I did something a little better there. I couldn't really think of anything, so what I did is I just kind of appealed to maybe their more rational self, if you will. You know, instead of kind of always arguing, being on the defensive, arguing about how it's not. So if they say yes, I'm going to vote for this thing. We're just going to end the call. It's, you know, get it the vote. There's just no reason to be reaching out to those people that may have their minds made up.
We're just calling on our Get Out the Vote efforts to see how you were planning on voting on that important issue. If you're planning on voting yes to change the Constitution and permanently ban same-sex marriage, or if you're going to vote no and reject the or if you're going to hang up on me.
That's great. You know, I'm voting no as well. You know, I have 2 gay moms. I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. You know, I also don't think it's the place for politicians to be putting stuff in the Constitution, making it illegal for people to marry the person they love.
Best offer of the year. DVR service free. 5